Hey, KK, how are you?
I'm doing well, Toffee. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
I was just speaking with a Fox player, and I've been working with them for a while. They're difficult to come up with new things to go over, like new big picture stuff.
Okay,
Because
okay.
they learn really fast. Yeah, I've been working with them for probably about 2 months now, and they just won their monthly. They beat the number one
Right.
and two people in their region. I think they're like ranked around fourth or fifth right now. So like these were upsets. Like they beat the number one guy in one set, and then beat the number two guy in two sets, like winners, finals, and grands. So
Hmm.
he's feeling really good. And it's just, yeah, we've been going over a lot of different concepts and it's starting to come together. And I'm hoping that is what we can see with you. As
I
we,
hope so too. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So,
amazing though. Congrats as well. Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, no, Rich is doing great. So I guess I wanted to start by asking you just kind of broadly. So I know last time we were having a lot of success with kind of like the undershoot with punish over like undershoot overshoot with punish triangle.
Hmm.
We got into that together. How have you been finding that's coming along? Are there things that are like sticking, not sticking?
That's been going great. I've had an opportunity to play a lot of Jigglypuff after the fact, and it's been working really well. I've been noticing what it also makes me appreciate certain stages more as well. Because I remember I said that position we talked about how that position where center stage sort of like in that sort of gap between the top platform and the bottom or one of the bottom platforms is kind of like a good area for Link because he can cover with bomb and everything, and he can short hop on certain stages and then use the bomb to cover platform.
Yeah,
And I'm noticing that, yeah, on some stages he can short hop and cover platform with the bomb, and then on other stages he can't. So it's also making me appreciate certain stages more in certain matchups, which is, or in certain, like, yeah, scenarios, which is good.
yeah, that makes sense. So
Uh,
like Fountain of Dreams, I'm thinking Yoshi's Story, Pokemon
yeah,
Stadium, like having like
yes.
knowing that you can use the short hop to cover that space. Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. So when it's a high platform, are you noticing that there's any like? I imagine that would probably mean that you're not able to do that as effectively. Like you're not able to do that with high platforms. Um,
Mhm.
on those stages, what's the backup plan?
I can like luckily I can still full hop with a bomb. The nice thing about short hopping with the bomb and is that I can go in with it and stay under them and then pressure with up airs afterwards as well. But the it's still pretty safe to I think full hop and stay in center stage and throw the bomb because it'll cover even more of the platform. It'll cover like above it as well, which is good. But I think it's just a matter of staying safer in that scenario and just holding center stage. If that makes does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess with all that all in mind, have you thought about using instant double jump or using double jump for spacing in these kinds of situations?
So, like double jump is in like I would double jump onto the platform like using the no impact landing sort of thing.
Well, no, like
No.
so with short hop when you short hop and throw the bomb, like you're just staying below the platform, but the bomb happens to like hit it in its arc, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, your short hop and your double like your short hop and your full hop. I was thinking that like your double jump represents an amount of
Oh.
like it represents a height between those points.
Oh, it does. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
because
something I hadn't considered. Yeah.
yeah, there's like there's actually some cool moments from. I know that this is Marth, but let me grab something because I want to show you kind of how some of this can play out with other characters and see if you can get any ideas from it. Because I
Hmm.
think that this is a pretty big concept in general. So
Sure, yeah.
let me make sure that we're on the right page. Okay, this looks good. So this is just Zane versus Peach, but like there's something that he does in a little bit. Yeah, it's I think on this punish. Look at how he sets up that. See what I mean? Like, see how he
Oh.
sets up his follow up with his double jump to just barely land on the platform.
Oh, I see. So he did double jump to get onto the top platform there? Yeah, I could like barely, it's barely perceptible.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
you can see, but you can see the advantage to it, right? Like he's able to
Yes.
double jump, get that fair off, and then still land barely and like hit him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
have you
true.
so have you ever thought about doing stuff like that with Link? Like,
I have not. That's never crossed my mind. Yeah. So that's it. That's really cool. Okay.
right, and like the thing is, you can also see him do like similar things. I don't know if it's on this stock, but like. So where is it? Come on, Zane, cooperate. Mr. Best Player in the World. Okay, never mind. He doesn't do it, but like there's other moments where he like kind of does similar things to like land on these side platforms. And I'm wondering, because of how he's using that double jump as an in-between between his short hop and his full hop, could Link do similar things by like instant double jumping with his bomb to like shoot it across?
He probably can, to be honest. His double jump is very... It's not very, like... It doesn't gain much height, so it would be probably an interesting... interesting height to cover. Let me... I'm actually going into...
Uncle Punch to test it?
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay.
Okay. Well, if you want to broadcast to me so I can see too, then that's totally fine.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Let me do that. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Punch. And I will share screen.
Perfect.
If I do dolphin, it should do it, right?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
I can see it. We good.
Okay.
Because yeah, let's try on Battlefield and just... So the idea is like we're pulling the bomb and then we're just instant double jumping, basically.
Oh, it gets me.
Oh, you know impact land that?
Yeah. Okay.
What? That's so sick.
Yeah, you can do it up into the top platform too. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks. You know what? You could probably no impact land, then just fall through with bomb throw.
Yeah.
Because it kind of covers the same spot as like the other one, right?
Yes. It seems like otherwise the it's almost the same as full hop.
Except you're not in the air for as long.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay.
So you could probably fast fall way sooner and like get into like a combat position like way sooner.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so like, okay, so this is a movement option that so yeah, using your double jump, I think, like, for a movement technique, like, for movement and positioning, I think that definitely makes a lot of sense as something to, like, enhance your gameplay. Like, I was actually working with Mar the other day, and one of the things that we noticed about him was that, yeah, he basically only ever works in the, short hop zone and full hop zone. He didn't really use platforms for, like, movement, for, like, setting up aerials, but one of the things that I think that could work really well about Link with platforms is that by going up there, you don't have to go through your jump squat to set up aerials. Like,
yes.
Like, you could easily just no impact land and then fall through platform fair.
Oh, that's true. I need to practice it, but yes, I see what you mean.
Yeah, like, try no impact land and then just fall through the platform with fair. Like
okay,
that,
yeah.
Like, that seems pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like we found you a new toy. So...
It's fun. Yes, yeah, okay. Makes sense.
So another cool thing is... let me pass it to you. So what's something... I feel like there's a lot of areas from that we could explore that would probably be worth our while. Let me ask you, what's something that you want to see improved in your gameplay?
Let's see. I guess decision making is definitely something I want to improve, but I think
in what situation?
Oh, that's a good question.
I know, right? I asked the tough ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I guess I guess I can already identify what I do wrong, and it's using certain moves in certain matchups. Like, sometimes I get a little too happy when I probably shouldn't be using that move. Things like that. But that just is a matter of, I think, just being more cognizant in the course of a match a little bit. I guess something else that I want to see improved is my consistency with techniques like that. I think I'm not using things like no impact land, and I knew about it. But I'm not using those to their fullest degree because I'm not confident in my ability to actually do them.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I need to hit the lab, and I need to start actually practicing that. It's the same with not using the auto cancel for the first like 9 frames of dare, or 12 frames of dare in order to get up tilt off of like a short hop, right?
Sure. So that all makes sense. Something that a question I have for you is it possible that getting trigger happy with things like a B might stem from not being sure how else to kill someone, or like not being sure how to get the hit to kill someone?
That's definitely, yes. That's definitely, I think, a part of it. I know what I'm feeling in that moment is I need to kill this person immediately. I need to secure the stock immediately and as fast as possible. And I guess my brain goes to, well, up B does that quite well. So then I do it and it doesn't work.
Okay.
But I think it's also, I could probably be more cognizant of the options that I have in certain matchups that do work, because this is less of an issue in matchups that I know. I think, like, for instance, if like a Fox, or if I'm facing Fox or Falco and they hit my shield, I know, probably not going to get something out. So it's better to just not do that.
True. So let's talk when you're not sure, when you don't know a matchup. What does that usually entail?
It probably entails that I need to, well, for one, I need to seek out people who
what does
who
not
play
know
the character.
what does not knowing the matchup mean?
I guess. Oh no, not knowing things that are safe on shield, or what their options are off of hits and things like that, or where to DI.
You don't need to know that stuff.
No.
Not know what moves are safe on shield. You should know that, like, just by like hitting them. You should know that, generally speaking. Like, I don't play Jigglypuff, but I know these are safe.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
So
yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
why do I know these are safe though?
They're spaced, right?
Yeah, but what about now? Are they safe?
Oh no.
So what has changed?
They've sort of went too close to you with the not projectile. With the hitbox, right?
Right. So, but there's kind of like more than one. There's kind of 2 types of shield spacings, in my opinion. And this is, so we're gonna do the shield pressure lesson, because like this one I think is kind of a useful one. So
sounds good.
How shall we do this? Okay, so there's kind of two types of shield pressures, shield pressure spacings, but you only really need to know one of them for most characters, unless you want to do frame traps. This is the one that Hungrybox does mainly. It is what makes his entire playstyle possible. So, when he's doing these shield pressure, like these back airs like this, you'll notice that, like, sometimes these are, like, -5, sometimes they're -7. None of that matters. -19's a problem, but, like, that's just me missing the L cancel. So, why do you think that none of these matter? Like, whether it's frame 7, like, -6, -7, -5, like, why doesn't that matter?
Because Luigi just can't get to you in time anyway, right?
Right. So, what character can?
Oh, let's see. Maybe Fox? Fox might be able to wave dash out of shield in, and then
Even if
do something.
Even if I do this?
Oh, no.
Right.
Probably not.
Right, because, and I'll tell you why. So I'm airborne on frame 5 or 6. I think Puff is airborne on 6. Yes, that sounds right. It's 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's the same as Falco. Yes.
Okay, so they were born on 6. Perfect. So that means that Fox needs to spend 13 frames wave dashing, assuming he does it perfectly, and then 1 frame shining for his fastest move in order for him to hit me. But if I dash jump away as so when I'm -5 or better, -5, 6 or better, he can't possibly punish that because I'm already back in the air. You see what I mean?
Yes, yeah, that makes sense.
So, if we were to copy this onto Link, for example, what character, like, if you space fair on somebody's shield,
there's nothing they can do.
There's nothing they can truly do to punish you after the fact. So I would call this type of spacing the far shield pressure stance.
Okay.
This is characterized by us being too far away for their immediate out-of-shield threat options to function whatsoever. So,
Okay.
for Link, how this would look is, you'd be about here.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Because no matter what happens, once I'm, like, pressuring with my fair at this distance, Fox can't do anything about it directly. If he tries to, we get a free hit. So, because of that, his options, by necessity, have to be structured around stuff like this. No, stuff that, like, deals with me after the fact. But this is where, like, your up tilts and stuff, or up airs can, like, come in. Like, I don't know, like, Link's pressure options is, like, well enough to really speak to all of it. But, like,
No,
you can see what I mean. Like, there's no way that he possibly, like, can counter this by just coming out of shield, because if he wave dashes forward or whatever, we can always just attack him. Like, we can just keep keep going, kind of. So with that in mind, like, I think that he, on Link specifically with his high, like, high jump start up time, he might not be able to do this, like, quite as well, but I think that, like, this is where things like walking away and then going for up tilt can be good. This is where, like, this is really the foundation of a lot of shield pressures, especially by low tier characters. Just because they don't have the frame traps to, like, play up close games the way that, like, the top tiers do, like the high pressure characters do, but every character is subject to these restrictions.
Right.
Because as soon as, like, they have to move out of shield, they can't, like, as soon as they can't hit with their immediate out of shield options, which would be any rising aerial, any down B, any specials that hit immediately out of their shield, so like Shine's, Link's up B would count, Peach's up B would count, Dolphin Slash from Roy and Marth would count, Bowser at B, Samus at B, all of those count. Once you're outside of the range of their rising aerials, all of those, and their shield grab, they have to and down Bs, like, I guess, they have to commit to movement, which means either coming up and then coming down, or wave dashing in order to hit you, and that means that, for any character, it's 13 frames plus their fastest move, minimum. So all of a sudden, like, this being -2 isn't really that big of a deal, because... Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, that puts it into, I think, a whole new perspective for me, because I was so concerned about learning what exactly is negative or things like that on shield, but it's more important here to have, like, the appropriate, to understand and recognize the appropriate spacing that can be punished and can't be punished. And
and the cool thing is like, as Link, because you actually do have, like, a pretty solid frame trap with, like, your Nair, like, with your Nair stuff, like, you can transition this, like, this thing into something like this and have it be pretty effective. But, like, heck, like, even just, like, something like this, I can't stop double jumping because of Ness, but, like,
it's all good.
But you can see, like, you can kind of see the effect. Like, this is also where you could potentially, like, boomerang after, like, your options, or, like, forward smash, because, like,
I never even considered boomerang. That's really cool, actually. Yeah,
like, it's a slow option, but, like, if he's full hopping or wave dashing, like, yeah, you have options here.
Yeah, once you condition the opponent to respect fair, then you can do the leggier things.
Yeah, like, the thing that that always struck out with me, like, something that always struck me as kind of weird when I was watching you play, is just how much, like, you kind of, like, want to, like, jab my shield. And I'm kind of like, that gives me, like, so much room to interact with your next option. But if you just fair my shield and, like, call it a day, or, like, fair my shield and, like, wait a little bit, you're completely actionable, you're completely safe. The thing is, shield is innately disadvantage state in this game. Because if I don't know how you define disadvantage state, but the way I define it is, the player disadvantage state occurs when you have two players where, if both of them do absolutely nothing and continue on with what they're doing, like, which is nothing, in the positions they're in, something horrible happens to one of them. So in the case of Fox here, the obvious one is, if we turn Infinite Shield off and help him along a bit, eventually he just dies. Like, he goes into this state, and we get to do a free whatever the hell we want to him, which is usually killing him. This is also why, like, jumping or, like, being above someone without your jump is also disadvantage state. because this would be juggle state, because no matter what happens, you are going to land and incur the auto-cancel landing lag. Which means that if, for the person on the ground who's fully actionable, there will be a small, albeit like it's only 4 frames or 5 frames or 6 frames, depending on the character, 2 frames if it's Pichu, but there's going to be a window where this character is punishable. And nothing they do can avoid that. Now, granted, shielding is a much bigger penalty if they do nothing, but shielding is also generally considered a much like bigger commitment because it's it's blocking. This is also why like recovery and ledge grab, like one of the things I'm always confused about when people are edge guarding is, and this is just kind of like a tangent, but like when people are like they have to hit the opponent when they're coming back, and it's like, well, no. It's like, no, they have to come back. Like, you get, like, if their recovery path is such that, like, if where your character is covering doesn't allow them to come back without getting hit by you, and they choose to avoid you, then that is just as good as hitting them. Like, because then they've killed themselves. Like, that's perfectly fine. Like, the onus is on them to fix their position, not on you to punish them for it. They have, like... it is good for you to punish them for it, but fundamentally the ball is the burden of responsibility in this spot is entirely on them, not on you at all. So
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
And
it's making me realize that yes, I do jab like immediately after fair every time, and that's only good if I present other options with it. Jab is really good for keeping people in the shield, but you have to present it as an option and so that you can do the other options, right? Does that check out?
It's more like jab is good in the sense that can catch people for like moving out of shield, but there's nothing, but you don't want to compromise your offense by presenting them an option where them getting hit by it is better than them staying in their whittling shield.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Because no matter what happens, like if we borrow from Frame Advance, the lovely and talented Frame Advance here, if we turn shield off, look at how long it takes him for like him to just let go of his shield. 14 frames.
Oh. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So like we don't have to commit to shit. Like we have like that's like because it starts counting on 0, so 0, that's 15 frames. 15 frames of inaction. So like by you throwing out that jab, what you are doing is you are kind of allowing him to decide that his 15 frame penalty for like having to get out of shield is worth whatever your jab does, which is like 6.
Okay, I see.
So there's also a risk reward evaluation in here too. And whether or not that 6 damage will be worth it or not, like it might be, but it might not be.
Like, that's true. There's other options I can use, especially if I decide to wait and maybe try and react to what they're doing. So like a lot of people will roll behind the jabs, and instead of being committed in jab, if I were to wait, then I can do turnaround up tilt or just up tilt. Turnaround up tilt might even cover if they stay in place, depending on the spacing of the fair.
Well, not only that, but like if we turn infinite shield off, right? Like, like we could also just wait and maybe down smash, like down smash when down smash around like here when it's like more likely to poke. Yeah,
and if they full hop, that's an up air, move in with up air or something.
Or forward smash. Like we got options. Like the one thing that you never want to be doing with shield pressure is committing to is showing your hand before you have to.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, like it's good. It can be good to go for frame traps every here and there just to like train people to do things or to make sure people are aware of things like that. But you don't want to make jabbing or like low impact things the centerpiece of your shield pressure, because really the penalty for shield, like the penalty for raising shield like brazenly like that should be appropriate to what you're punishing them with. Like it should be like it should be kind of, there should be an equivalency there. And I really just don't think that like going for something as gentle as jab is like it really lines up. Now, if your jab is crazy, like it's Ganondorf's, then that's one thing. But like, where this is Link we're talking about. Like, I wouldn't recommend people do this with Sheik, and Sheik, I wouldn't tell people to do this with Sheik or Fox or Falco, and they have phenomenal jabs. So I'm definitely not going to tell people to like, you know, lean into this kind of strat with Link as a centerpiece.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I have a lot to think about with that now, which is good.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense as to whenever I see like successful Links play, or at least I guess Aklo in that regards. He's always like a lot of the time he's doing like nothing. Do you know what I mean? Which is I think what I need to start doing more. Like he's just I think waiting for the opponent to just come to him, or if they're not, he like inches forward a little bit, and he continues to do that until he gets them into a corner with either bomb or fairs or things like that. And
yeah, I agree with that, because like I've just opened him versus Med. Like I'll share my screen, but I've just opened him versus Meds, and like from Genesis, and I see a lot of what you're talking about. Like he's just a lot of times it looks like he's just vibing with his nairs. Like he's going for like he's not pulling bombs, and I'm guessing that's like a Fox matchup thing. Especially on FD, but like the way that he's kind of going around doing this is, it looks like he's just he's waiting. He's being careful about this. He's being careful about space. He doesn't pull bombs until he's like very much earned it on that shield pressure. Like he didn't try to like the thing that strikes me here is that he tries to get out of the way, and granted, like he's not successful in it. Like he still gets caught by the drill, but like if he had gotten like the full distance, like if he had been able to act sooner and get out of the way of this, that wave dash back probably nets him a kill. Whereas him going for the jab on this during this pressure string, just like maybe like it doesn't stop Meds from doing what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So like. Yeah. Like that to me, I think is like is definitely like, why didn't he down throw up B? Does that not work on Link? No, on Fox, whatever. Probably
yeah. Down throw up B is only a true kill and only really works at about 120.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But yeah, it's like, you see what I mean? Like how he's just not like it's so difficult for him to interact with Meds' shield, so he's just using his double jump for spacing to like and not bothering doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah, because like, and I think that like this is really Link at it. Like in a weird way, this is actually, in my opinion, Link at his best, because what he's doing here is he's not. What on earth is going on with this broadcast?
It's a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, this was like.
It also. Oh, sorry.
No. I'm just trying to figure out why it's like so buggy. Whatever. But yeah, like I think this is kind of Link at his. I give up. I give up on this. But
yeah, fair enough.
I think this is kind of Link at his best though when he's doing stuff like this, because what he's doing is he's kind of inviting his opponent to like hang himself, which is always great. But in addition to inviting his opponent to hang himself, he's also creating enough room so that if somebody is tempted into like playing a distance game with him, he's able to like respond to it. And that's actually how he gets some of these openings at like when they're both at high percent, by like catching Meds when he's like pulling away from him, and going for like boomerangs and stuff. Like I think that there's one here or like a little bit before. Yeah, it's this opening. So like while they're pressuring each other back on stage and they get into this. Yeah, it's around. Yeah, so he knows his boomerang has come back, so then he's gonna shoot it while Meds is lasering, and then is like that. That got him so much in terms of just like having proper like stage position to like fight. Yeah, and it jumps around, and I don't know how he gets the hit, but like I think that kind of structure makes a lot of sense for this character. Yeah,
because I noticed whenever Link's try to do something that other characters want to do, it doesn't work out. Like if people try to dash dance with Link, well, all it does is really remove his options and then take your mind onto something else and make you react slower to other things. Like, it's almost better to just lumber your way forward slowly and keep the ability to up tilt and do other options and things like that in order to play this character effectively.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Peach in a lot of ways. Like, in that he functions really effectively from the air positions where he can threaten his fare and like kind of like control that diagonal like approach zone, and then he kind of like supports that with like his other tools, like his boomerang, his bomb, his up tilt, his nairs. Like, they're all kind of like things that like work around that initial like hammer, like that like diagonal hammer, like aerial hammer position where they just come down with this like powerful striking move. So I think there's a lot to work with there. I guess my question here is, with our remaining half hour, how do you foresee this being helpful? Because I know we've had a lot of big concepts that we've talked about, but like, what do you want to work? Like, would you be up to do some live coaching? Like, we could pop you into ranked and see how that goes. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Sure, we can try some. Is there anything you think we should go over that would be helpful now that I could like that we could talk about, and then we could do some live coaching maybe the next session, or
yeah, if you want to
give me time to implement, or
yeah, sure. So I guess with that, you were telling me how the Jigglypuff games were going well, from like the things we were implementing. What things are not going well, and do you have any examples for that?
Do you mind if we run through a game actually then?
Sure.
I can do one of the ones that I lost here. Let's see. Where's one that I lost versus I played my friend Forky a while back.
Oh, Forky. Okay, I think I know about them.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, here's one on Dreamland we could go over.
Sure.
Okay.
So long, like, this is good because long games tend to have a slightly like more drawn out structure. So
yes, yeah.
I have a feeling, like, is this a long game or is this just like I got rested 3 times?
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Cool.
Let's see. Okay, I'll go back to. How do I get back to the chat? Let's see.
Oh, should be top right.
Oh, there we go. Yes. Okay, here we are. And I'll send it over to...
Cool.
There we go.
I have my... I saw the size of the file. I'm like, yep, this is going to be a long one. I'm like, 5
yes, yeah.
I'm like, 5 minutes? Yep. Honestly, that's not so bad for this matchup, though.
Yes.
So
now, this was the first game that I played after our coaching, I think, against Puff. So this is sort of my first time implementing what we talked about.
Cool. So already I like what I'm seeing. So we're using like our Nair and our... I like how you like went for the double jab and then fared again to like keep pressure on her. You're attacking her out of her position. You're like using the diagonal well. This is all good. Instead of like retreating to platform, you're pulling bombs like a little bit more liberal. You're pulling bombs from like standing positions more. So like this all looks good. What did he happen? What did he think? Because I'm assuming... Like, he's a friend, right? So did you talk to him about these games?
I didn't talk to him about these games, per se, in part because I'm also kind of... I guess it doesn't really matter, but, like, I don't want to give away any of your coaching. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I don't...
So, like,
I have got so many tricks. Like, it's all good.
Okay. I didn't talk to him about what I was looking for and things like that in this situation. I think the most I talked about was holding center stage, or trying to do that.
Okay. So one thing I would comment on, okay, so you get this sick follow-up here, like being aware of where, did you know that your boomerang was coming back?
I usually am aware of the boomerang coming back.
Okay, cool. So what do we go for knowing that the boomerang is coming back?
Let's see.
So I'm just like asking, is there something we can throw out here knowing that this is going to hit him that might kill him if we get the guess?
We'd need to be slower than the boomerang, otherwise the boomerang takes away all momentum, so maybe fair?
Oh, I mean after the double nair, because we need the nair.
Oh!
We need like the double nair in order to like hit him into the boomerang. So
okay, yes, yeah. I would say up air would be the best thing. Especially at 140, it's more likely to kill than I think a lot of other things.
Okay, agreed. Could we also up tilt?
Up tilt is an option too. Up tilt might kill. Any other stage, I'd be more certain. But Dreamland, it might.
You know what? I'm gonna consult the runes. Give me 1 second with
Sounds good.
give me 1 second with IKD, and then we'll have an answer. So 140.
Sounds good. Yes.
Oh, she's like Omega dead. Like.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing from like up tilt hits her from like the floor, and like.
And she's gone.
She's like Omega Ultra dead. I cannot find an angle where she survives this. So yeah, up tilt, like, here, if you want to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Like...
Yes. Yeah, she's done. Okay, yeah, up tilt's a very viable option in that situation.
So like, let's actually do a quick experiment here. So assuming no DI, when does up tilt not kill? So from this, it's suggesting that like 130 is the break point, 129 is the break point, and okay. So then for DI not to matter, it would be this input, this one over here. So DI no longer matters for her with up tilt at 137. So yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was gonna be 135, but I was off.
It's all good.
My Link versus Jigglypuff math is off. It's fine.
That's okay. Yeah, it's not something to worry about.
The point is though, like you can see that like once we know that she's at these percents where like up tilt and stuff kills, like we should be prioritizing those options when we have like free advantage state things where we can just play a mix up. We should be heavily valuing those things. Like this would be another example. Like I can't imagine ever doing anything but short hop up air here. Because even if it doesn't true combo, as long as her jump doesn't take her out of it, it doesn't matter because it just hits her and kills her.
Yes, yeah. This situation here is actually really, it's a little off topic, but see that bomb there?
Yeah.
And see how I did those fairs? At any point from that short hop, I can hit Z and it grabs the bomb.
Oh, that's super sick. Yeah.
So,
cool. So like it's a setup. It's basically a setup so that you can like threaten. Yo, that makes so much sense. So yeah, like I think that like as you use the no impact land stuff, that's gonna be like even more powerful because like you're gonna be able to throw from more angles.
Yeah. It only works on certain straight stages, but for some reason Dreamland is one of them, and it's like okay, like it's staged with like shorter platforms, so you can't do it on Battlefield. That's like the only stage.
Oh. It's probably just your character's grab box. I love the pressure you're doing here, though. So, like, this to me is, like, kind of the this is, like, the type of pressure that, like, makes so much sense for the concept. So, like, see how you're, like, zoning outside of her range? If she wants to come out, she has to, Yeah, like, this is the type of stuff. Like, this, I would never go forward like this. Like this fair sidestep, this is what I would avoid doing because what you're doing is you're playing a frame trap gamble that on somebody that you just don't have to do that with. Like if you had just fared in place when she rolled through you, like what do you lose? Like
I get an up tilt or something. Yeah, you
just turn around and grab her. You like get an up tilt, like. Because you have to play that mini game when you didn't have to, you had to then wait for her to crouch and then confirm that in order to play that interaction, in order to get the hit for that interaction. So that's why I mean that like the low tier, like not even the low tier, just like the character who doesn't like these not every character is a frame trap monster. Link, like Jigglypuff is notoriously not a frame trap monster, but she has this like probably the third best pressure in the game just because she does the far pressure the best out of everyone. So which is the more important one to be good at.
Yes, yeah.
Wow, you were mashing on that one.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I honestly think that offense is like the place where I would just focus, like offense and using your movement, like your double jump and movements and things more effectively, like more liberally, and to get more like to do like precision spacing. Those would be two things that I think that would be like do so much for you because you do so much of the zoning extremely well, but then like when you get into like advantage state, you don't push nearly as hard as you could. Like that's probably okay. So we're one hit away from the kill, but like that bomb being there is so annoying. Like all of this is gold. This looks so difficult to deal with, And, like, imagine if we just, with what we know about percents, imagine if instead of going for jabs, we just decided we were going to go for, like, turnaround up tilt on all of these.
Yeah, that would be so much better. Because eventually they will try to go in. So if I just keep doing up tilt, like a spaced up tilt from a spaced fair, there's not much they can do about it.
Yeah, and, like, you just get so much, and you don't give him the chance for that reversal, because that could have gone, that, like, F-smash into his shield could have gone so, sideways. Like, if he just jumps out of shield properly, that is a rest. Like, wave dash out of shield, there's no reason to allow him to have any of this. Similarly, after these, like, jabs, something that you might want to consider, look at how far away he drifts away from you. What if we, what if we were aggressive about our bomb play?
Oh, yeah, if we actually moved in.
Like, because the thing is that, like, we can, after this jab into fair, like, when you jump forward, you know he's going to be pulling back because he doesn't want to get hit by this. So what if we, like, advanced with our bomb pull?
Oh, we jumped in, and then we got a bomb right there.
Yeah, like, as we're jumping forward. So it's, like, short hop forward, bomb pull. Like, then we have it here. We're able to, like, punish him for going for this. Like, there's so many, there's a lot of really interesting options, I think, that open up when we understand why the opponent is playing around our, like, around our sword. Really, Link is just, like, a fancy Marth.
yeah, he's a little bit, yes.
He's a very not straightforward Marth and Peach, but, like, he's got, like, that similar vibe of, like, he creates these territories that the opponent understands they cannot operate in these zones. So then he's just, like, then he just pressures and pushes and pushes. And I think that, like, what you do really well is establishing those zones. You just don't take advantage of them hard enough.
Yeah, that is something I tend to just play neutral, I think. I just...
Yeah, but you're at advantage.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I need to...
This is the fun part. You get to beat them up.
Yeah, exactly. No, I need to work on that. And now that I'm aware, I need to start working on situations where I can sort of more aggressively pull bombs and use them as an actual pressure tool instead of just locking down space.
Well, not only that, but, like, I think that this also ties in well with the, like, I haven't, like, granted it's Jigglypuff, so I don't know what the opportunities would be, but, like, I haven't really seen you gone for a B either. Like,
yeah.
I know it's scary, I know it's, like, super risky, but, like, when you're at 0, like, here, I think that it should, like, crouch cancel into up B and stuff should at least be on, or, like, up B out of shield, should at least be on the table when rest doesn't kill you. Because, like, they are, like, if you're willing to go for that...
Yeah, then the occasional up B shouldn't be an issue, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And granted, that one was, like, kind of reacting. I like that you did the forward smash thing that we talked about. That made me very happy. Because, yeah, like, that you were able to, like, go for a big hit and then, like, not get punished for it. So what is the punish here?
It's, like... That was an okay punish, to be honest. But, like... normally what I try to do, I'm not very good at it, but you throw the boomerang away from Puff. You go to the other side of Puff,
and then the double forward smash?
The double forward smash, yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
But I was told recently as well that doing the down tilt is okay if you get the meteor.
Oh, do you know how to get it?
It should just be in the hilt, basically. So you just get as close as possible to them and then do it.
I'm wondering if our fancy frame data website will have this. That's so cheese, I hate this person. I don't know who he is, but I hate this person. Let's see here. Link. Detailed. Okay, cool. So, it's kind of in his hilt, but, like, not exactly. See what I mean?
Yeah. Is it that purple box?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's like... It's kind of in his knee, really.
Yeah. Oh, that might be hard to hit.
So, like... Well, so what I would say is, this is probably easier if you, like, running crouch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
because, like...
It pushes you into the character a little bit. And then, yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is that is the ID 0, I believe. Let me check the labeling. Oh no, that's ID 0 is red. Okay, so that's 3. So this is 2. Yeah, so you have to like overlap it in such a way where you're only getting the purple part on her.
Yeah.
So with that is you probably want to have a setup for it, and I'm thinking running crouch or even doing it facing away from her, depending on
That's
how
what. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking that would be maybe the best way is to try and just face away, depending on how much he leans forward. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, this is cool though. This is cool though. So like that is also something that's I think is worthwhile to know. That the meteor hits knowing that the meteor is in that spot. Because that is the spot. Like the angle, the 80, that's the unique angle. The rest of them are all 280.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait a minute. No, 80 angle 80. That would be upward. That would be the launcher, wouldn't it? So it has to be these ones? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it has to be on these ones. So this is the one that screws it up then.
Okay.
Cool. So what happened on that what happened on that punish then? Did the punish work as intended? Like, is that what the takeaway is on that rest punish?
I don't think so. If it's a meteor, he should have been in the ground, right? Like basically.
But meteors pop people up though.
Oh, they do pop people up. It might have. I actually don't know.
I'm gonna look at this. I need to understand this.
it's weird, yeah. I got the follow up after, so I think down tilt into dash attack is not like horrible, but like it did. Yeah, he was at 3%, so it did a little bit, but
Yeah, so he's ground bound. He is being ground bouncing. So yeah, so that is what it's supposed to do. Could you grab him?
Link cannot grab aerial opponents.
I'm pretty sure he can. It's just wacky, right? Like
it's only off of standing grab, and it's only like in his shoulders, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm thinking. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that, like, with where he was, we could have actually gone for that. Do you know how to... do you play with DI display when you're going to Uncle Punch?
I do not. No.
Okay, so... When I'm doing... So something that I would say that probably would help you then... let me just quickly turn this on. Because I think that this is something... Because I think that, yeah, we need a better overall understanding of how much stun you have for these things if we're going to if we're going to plan combo routes, and this is like one of the most useful ways to get that information. So DI display on, smash DI frequency off because we don't need that like messing with us.
Okay. Yeah.
See?
Oh, I see. Oh yeah. Oh, it tells you exactly when and where they're going to be actionable again too. That's very useful.
Oh yeah, and like Jigglypuff is kind of bugged with this. Like I find that she kind of behaves weirdly, but if you set her to something like an attack or something, like she's a lot more cooperative.
Oh, I see. Ah, yes.
Yeah. So
it looks like it could work.
Yeah, so one thing, let's try the other cool thing that you can do is you can get like a minimum and a maximum. So like if we send her... Oh, wait, that's Smash DI. Okay, cool. So, this is Inwards DI, which we can both kind of, like, see. So this is, like, what they mean by Inwards in Uncle Punch is assuming that the opponent, like, DIs as into you as humanly possible, where do they go? The other one is Outwards, which is the opposite. So what I'm learning here is, like... We actually maybe can do it. Maybe not like... I'm curious as to like how we're getting such like variance on like the hit trajectory, but this might just be that's probably the meteor. Like that's probably the distinction between the meteor and the launcher hit, because there is a launcher, right?
Yeah, the launcher is the one that is easier to hit.
Okay.
I believe.
Gotcha. So, like, we could probably do something...
That was the meteor. I saw the green. Yeah, if you see the green, like, flash, I think that's the meteor.
Gotcha. So, like, this...
Yeah.
We could probably, like, F-smash her after it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Like, yo, this is sick.
That actually works. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so, like, this is just inwards DI. Like, inwards DI with the meteor. But, yeah, like, that seems to be a thing.
Yeah, and that's 33% right off the get-go. Okay.
Yeah, so, like, I'd say that, like, I'd say that DI display is something I'd definitely work with. And then if you're not sure, if you're having trouble working with inwards, outwards, the other cool thing that you can do is just do none.
Yeah, and then practice, just get the hang of it, and then, yeah.
Yeah, because none gives you the base trajectory that they'll be sent at with the move. And then inwards and outwards gives you, like, the min and the max ranges between those two, like, between the different DI points.
Yeah.
So, like, for labbing combos, follow-ups, for getting a hang of, like, where they go, like, because you can also see exactly the one thing with DI display that's kind of annoying. All right, Jigglypuff.
That's just like up smash. It doesn't hit.
Okay, cool.
On the sides,
So,
it's a poke tool. Poke tool for platforms.
Okay, cool. So you'll see here that with where we hit Jigglypuff, there's kind of like a range at which she like begins falling. The one thing about Uncle Punch is that sometimes they get like, well, no, they I think that one was pretty. I think it's pretty accurate on this one actually. If you just have her not do anything though, like if you turn the counter action off, you'll see that that the curve that she follows starts to like, she stops following that curve once she gets out of stun because she's going straight down. She's no longer following the DI trajectory path. That is also something that you can use in your matches to know when somebody has gotten out of stun, because if they're no longer following the vector, if they've like held in for some reason, like we'll use the power of mind control here. Yeah, no, wait, no, come back.
There we go.
And then we'll turn frame advance. So I'm holding forward now, and you'll see that similarly, if I hold away.
Oh, yeah, they just sort of like they instantly stop following that trajectory, and then it's a pretty good tell. Okay.
Yeah, so that's another way that you can know when things are happening, because I think that will help inform your decisions on when you can get away with bomb pulls or not. Because especially if you're like jumping forward for them or like doing them in place, this is information that tells you when it's safe to do that, when they're slightly too far to like when you've hit them away or whatever.
This is really cool. Yeah, because if you see them start to drift away, that's maybe indicating a bomb pull, and then if you see them start to drift in, maybe an up tilt or something like that.
Bingo.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay.
Yeah. And the other cool thing is that, like, it also, like, especially with edge guards, this is also how you can test somebody's, like, if we move over here and, like, pretend that she's recovering, this is also a way that you can test, like, somebody's willingness to, like, come back aggressively.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can see how I'm just reacting to her, like, drift here, basically.
Yeah.
Like, and granted, like, this is a computer, but, like, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, I just see her, like, starting to drift, so I know to, like, cover. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of the stuff in this game is just figuring out how to, like, summarize information, and I would say that, like, when the opponent is in stun versus out of stun and which way they're leaning coming out of that position, that is a huge piece of information. This will also make it easier for you to edgeguard illusions, because when you see foxes, like, start to, like, move in a certain direction that's outside of the vector from like how you hit them off, that also gives you an indication that if they're going to be jumping, it's going to be coming now. Like, it's not not before, but now. So that
yeah.
So all of this kind of works together with that offense stuff that we were talking about, because as you play a better offensive game, you're going to hit them more. So this is what you do with that. Like, this is some of the things that you can look for that help make you make better decisions when you get those hits in. So I would say that these plus like the movement things are like, the movement things and the shield pressure things would be the biggest things I would prioritize between now and our next session. But the biggest thing I would stress with them is just have fun with it, because these are very broad areas. And there's a lot you can do with them. So, like, don't feel pressured to, like, focus on a particular one if it's giving you trouble. It's okay to, like, take a look at another one that's clicking with you more. Emphasize that, and then see if you can take the things that you've learned with that stronger area and then come back to it later, because a lot of these work together. Because they're all just using offensive information to like allow you to apply more pressure and gain more advantage.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Thank you so much.
No problem. So, I know that this was a somewhat nebulous one, but how are you feeling about how this went? Because we have 5 minutes, but like, talk to me. What are you excited to work on, and how do you feel this went? Just, yeah.
I think it went really, really well. I think it just puts a lot of stuff, like, there's just ways that, like, you know, because of my lack of experience and things like that, I don't see the game in certain ways. And when you sort of illuminate those situations and sort of you almost dissect what's happening sort of metagame wise and within the game, and it's really eye-opening, and it just brings Melee into this whole new light, and I am very excited to start practicing sort of the no impact lands and seeing what I can do from there, and also just being more aware of what happens after fair instead of mindlessly doing jabs or an option. Not everything needs to have something happen. Sometimes the part of the game is to just wait and see what happens and then react to that situation, and that's something I'm looking forward to doing with what we talked about with Link's Fair and things like that. So this has been great. Is it?
Fairing again is a very, like, take it from a Sheik player, fairing again is an absolutely a viable option that more people should do. Like, hitting them with your, like, safe, spaced poking move, and then just, like, hitting them again with, like, your safe, spaced poking move. Like, we call that the Hungry Box for a reason, because it wins tournaments. Like, it's so good.
Especially against, as we talked about before, characters that are only good at, like, undershooting and overshooting, like Luigi and Ices. Like, I found that I can kind of just use fair, and like that's the thing to do. Just fair, and then occasionally I'll do like an overshoot nair, because they'll be really trying to get in at that point, and I know I can do it. But
well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, when we take the reason those characters are bad at whiff punishing is because their natural movements don't allow them to do it. They don't have a good dash and they don't have a good jump. Ice climbers can kind of cheat because they have Nana, so they can like kind of trade Nana's health to like to try to like emulate that, but it's all like short term. But ultimately, it has to do with the fact that their dash and their jump games aren't as functional as like a more well-rounded character. They're characters of extreme strengths. But the thing is, every character becomes like that when they shield. Because no character can dash out of shield, and no character can dash jump out of shield. So this is why fair into fair works when you have shielding opponents, because it's just a natural restriction of that position that makes everybody, like, it turns everyone into Luigi.
Yes, yeah. As you said, that kind of makes sense, yeah. Because as you said before, any option they do is going to have, for any character, is going to have a minimum of 13 frames added to it. So then...
Yeah, because it's 13. It's jump squat plus 10 to wave dash, so it's at least 3, 4, 5, 6. And then for the case of, like, and then for jumps, all you have to do is just be out of the way of their jump when it goes up, because no jump is fast coming down.
Right. Makes sense. Okay. Oh, and that's why is that why double jump is good in certain situations, because it lets you be fast coming down?
It kind of gives you like a positional mix up. So like the thing about double jump is that it allows you to, like, if you jump forward out of shield and double jump, that's usually just suicide into most good players, because they're just gonna like, if they're pressuring to like stay outside of if they're pressuring for safety, then you double jumping is just adding time that allows them to move further back or get under you into the position they want. So double jumping out of shield, the solution to somebody doing the spatial pressure, like the more like safe version, is usually not to extend further into it. It's usually to pull back. You give up on holding that zone because it is no longer worth trying to protect it anymore, because you're not getting anything from it. As Link, one of the cool things you can do is actually jump backwards and pull your bomb, because if they're not pressuring your shield directly, like if they're not applying tons of force to your shield, if they're just applying a little bit of force to your shield, they are making retreating out of your shield easier, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But that means But that means that you have the opportunity to jump backwards and pull your bomb because they are not applying tons of force to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you like Peach, because Peach can kind of like, Peach is the other side of that. Peach can like float out of shield and move forward, which then allows her to like challenge things that way. But for other characters who have to like, DJ Seers are kind of similar too. And then Fox and Falco cheat by having broken specials. But for mere mortals, and even for Fox and Falco to some degree, like the idea of like double jumping out of shield as a solution to that doesn't work, because you're still ultimately committing to a jump that has to go up, which allows the opponent to react to the upwards trajectory, and then you have to come down to hit them. Because there's that initial like telegraph, like there's that initial tell of the vertical jump before the actual attack comes, it means the opponent can always prepare for it. This is also why being in the diagonals ruins Luigi as a character, because it requires him to not only wave dash over to you in neutral, but then he has to jump up to hit you. So you have two tells with him to like deal with him. Now we all can beat Luigi, I'm sure. So I'm not gonna worry about him. But you can see like how even just having one of those tells is such a problem, because if you have to wave dash out of shield to hit somebody as Marth, that means your fastest ground normal hits on like 6 or 7, depending on if you're willing to jab them or not. Like if you're willing to jab them, it's 6, and if you're not, then it's grab. So that means that you're committing to at least 21 frames of inaction before you can even hit someone. Now constantly being like negative like 3 on shield or negative 2 on shield, like super safe for those like RPS, for those frame trap RPSs, like that's very difficult. But being negative 5, negative 6, negative 7 with a spaced like aerial, that's super easy. So what that allows, you have a lot of leeway if you can keep that spacing to like deal with even Marth's like mid-range game. Once he gets into shield, shielding is very dangerous in this game. Like the biggest takeaway here, for offense, is you do not have to do nearly as much work as you think you do when you have somebody in shield, because the onus is entirely on them for getting out of there. You can do absolutely nothing, and if they hold shield, their shield will explode, and then you'll get to do like 1 million damage to them, or at least 33 from what we found here with down tilt and down air. But like the onus isn't, the burden is wholly on them, so you can relax. Take it easy.
That makes a lot of sense, and what you just said there really made it click, that shield puts you into disadvantaged state. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
I will let you go, but let's play again before Gommel, so we can get some practice in.
I'm totally down. Let's play. Are you going to Gommel?
I am going to Gommel.
Okay, let's get some friendlies then at some point too.
For sure. I will.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon, but take care, Toffee, and let me know how things go, okay?
Sounds good. You have a good rest of the night.
Same to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.